Panago Pizza presents SCP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wild.
We have a trade to announce.
Do we?
The Wild have acquired defenseman Brad Hunt from the Golden Knights for a conditional 5th round pick in 2019.
Adam.
Who's excited about that?
I already knew about that. I already knew about that.
And let's not forget about the conditional 6 going back the other way.
Whoa. Listen, it's like the Ducks and the Wild are in a race to see who can make the least moves with the smallest impact. Or, sorry, the most moves with the smallest impact.
Yes.
Brad Hunt. Now watch the Wild go.
You know, I really feel like Brad's going to make a big difference for us.
Yeah, and that's such a... How does that conversation happen? Because all that trade is, hey, we'll give you Brad Hunt for the opportunity to move up in the later part of the draft. Because they got a 5th and a 6th went the other way.
I think the conversation starts at, hey, we want big player on your team. We'll give you big player on our team. Oh, no? Okay, well, there is a guy that we're also interested. What about him?
Well, I also have, you try to do the big Dunkaroos for Apple trade at lunch. Doesn't work, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
Well, unless... that worked for me a few times. I had a guy, I actually had a guy in the lunchroom when I was growing up who legitimately really loved fruit. And so I took advantage of that and sold high on my apples and Dunkarooed it up, baby. It was great.
But see, his strength was candy.
Right.
So he didn't need it.
No, he's dealing from a position of strength.
Right. Hey, Leafs, would you like this expensive winger? Doesn't really fit. But I tell you what, if you have any apples, which are right-handed defensemen, I would gladly take one.
Now, if you were to take something other than pizza from the Panago menu, would it be
every week, every show?
Would it be fire-grilled wings?
Oh, yes. Yes!
Well, I mean, you're laughing at me, but they've got hot and spicy, honey, garlic, salt, and pepper.
I have
Simple.
never in my life said no to wings. Ever.
Well, I don't know that you can.
No.
Like, it's just they're a very social food, too, because it's like, I'm going to be a mess, and you're going to be a mess, we're all going to be a mess together, and none of us are really going to be able to drink our beer without messing our beer up, too. Like, it's messy, so you're messy together, and you're in that together. You own it.
Do you want to just not be able to use anything with your hands, but totally do it anyway? And just create it's like a pandemic of chicken grease. It just spreads.
A Panagodemic?
Oh,
wow. Wow.
Yes, and I can't wait to be infected.
You know what Panago has?
What?
That
Pizza.
not many people know.
Oh.
That's very underrated.
Their salads?
What is it, Jesse?
Adam, no one has ever called salads underrated. Excuse you.
Sorry.
What is this?
What's the underrated
Jesse, is it frosting?
No.
Oh.
It is. They have cheesecake.
What?
You know they have cheesecake?
No.
Panago is cheesecake?
Yeah.
Stop.
They have like traditional, what is it? They have mini New York cheesecake.
They do have cheesecake.
It's delicious.
Leave it to the
I didn't
skinny
know it's
guy on
called
the
that.
show to know the stuff the fat guy should know.
Yeah.
It's only like $3. It's just a cheesecake, and you just eat it all to your face. It's amazing.
I like this.
That's lunch.
Jesse,
No, that's after lunch. That's dessert.
you're a good producer because you find cheesecake for the show, and I appreciate that.
We should get cheesecake.
We should get cheesecake right now. It's a 2-hour show. Literally order cheesecake. Can you?
I can.
No, but heavens. What about my waistband? I'm going to do ice surfing after this. I got to fit into my suit jacket because I have wardrobe.
Do they suit you?
Weird.
well?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah?
I know.
You got Sportsnet suited up?
I have a little rack in the dressing room. It's the smallest one.
Does it say Steve on it?
It says Steve Dangle on it.
That's kind of cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Share
Nice
one
little,
with Jason.
little closet.
Yeah, no, it's just a rack.
Just a rack.
Yeah, it's a rack.
But
It's
there's
still
Steve
something.
suits, yeah.
So you look at it as small. I look at it as the foundation
Yeah.
The foundation.
for the house, the enormous, beautiful house of Sportsnet that you're building.
Oh yes,
It's the foundation of your rack career.
Oh, you start small.
Exactly.
I'm going to take over all the racks. I'm just going to start tearing all the Friege's stuff down.
like
gonna
when Merrick started. Was Merrick's rack that big? I mean,
No.
how big was Frege's rack at the Score?
Oh,
Or
and
Tim
now,
and Sid?
now it's just full of stripes and brown shoes,
Blue ties?
blue ties.
You know what?
Definitely not hair product with Frege. Definitely
Nope.
not.
If you keep working, maybe one day you'll have a desk.
Whoa.
Can you believe that?
I have the Dangle desk, which is a table.
Yeah.
But one day, maybe
And it's not your desk. They just kind of get a desk from the corner and use it.
that is
And then put it back.
what it is. That is. And sometimes, like, an hour into the show, someone will come by with a chair and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I should have been sitting. I've been standing for an hour straight. Yeah.
That's a very you thing.
I'm really important and smart.
By the way, when we planned today's show, we started recording it. The idea was to start recording at 1, so I told Steve to be here at 12:30, because I'm sometimes late too. And so, I just stayed here from work, and Steve got here at 1:07.
That was a little bit late.
Now,
Was it 107?
Yes.
I thought he was on time for the one.
my favorite part was that he messaged us at about 12:50 going, looking for parking. And I looked at Jesse and I thought, well, those rotating parking lots, they're hard to find.
Okay. I didn't know what
Blame
to
the
say.
foreign government for that.
No. Listen, I wasn't blaming it on that. I can only do such a... Listen, I talk like an idiot. So the voice text...
Oh.
I'm like, okay, do I go with an accurate description of what I'm actually doing, which will turn into chrysanthemum coconut trying to eat a friggin' pineapple?
Yeah, voice to text not great.
Yeah, I always go with food when I'm doing those. Or I could just say looking for parking.
And what
So
were
that's-
you doing?
I was getting off the gardener.
That doesn't sound like looking for parking.
No, but I didn't. I was just,
That
I don't
sounds
know.
like you're
Sounds like blatantly lying to your two
about
best
to
friends.
enter the heaviest portion of traffic.
Driving through the city is a little vague.
Man, the Minnesota Wild could never make a Brad Hunt trade with you. They can't
No.
trust you that you'll sign the paperwork.
Wow.
You see.
Wow, Adam.
Wow.
I don't think that works, but I
No,
like
that
it.
doesn't work at
Here's
all.
another
No.
trade
Keep
that I
moving
think you
forward.
guys should consider.
What? I didn't like it that much, but will Brad hunt for a better option? You see,
Oh,
because
wow. You see, here's a trade I like, or at least the idea of. If the Oilers signed Lucic after having Jesse Puljujarvi fall to them in the draft, you can look at the trade as Hall for Larson, Lucic, and Puljujarvi. That's still my favorite tweet of all time.
okay, so say that again.
If the Oilers, this was in 2016, and this is really not fair to Tom Galluti, but
No.
if the Oilers signed Lucic after having Puljujarvi fall to them in the draft,
Yeah.
you can look at that trade as Hall for Larson, Lucic, and Puljujarvi, which was in the wake of the Hall for Larson trade. Now,
So-
we are getting into the Oilers. That's why I introed that, because yesterday was a day for the
So
Oilers.
the original trade was Hull for Larson.
One for one.
Does adding Lucic and Puljujarvi to it actually make it worse? I think it does.
Well, it depends on what they get for
Lucic.
Puljujarvi.
Yeah.
Puljujarvi, I think, still has tons of potential, and they maybe shouldn't give up on a guy after 5 seconds, which is like
It's really early.
fully the Oilers thing, by the way. They have a brand, and it is giving up immediately. That is their brand. Okay, we're trading Jordan Eberle for Ryan Strome. Oh, he didn't work. We'll trade him for Ryan Spooner. Oh, waivers.
Yeah.
They gave that guy...
Along with, by the way, the right side, I believe that they all play on. It was supposed to be the strong side going into, like, if you talk to Mark Spector out of camp, I remember the interview was like, well, they've got Ratty, they've got, I don't know what Puljujarvi's going to do, the Yamamoto, they got all these guys, and you're like, Ratty's your guy, eh? That's the guy, and who was the other one?
And he got, like, back-to-back hat
No,
tricks
yeah.
in the
Who was the
preseason.
other
If you don't
one?
remember, Ty Ratty had the best preseason of all time.
Ever.
And when are we going to learn that doesn't matter?
It literally does not matter.
There was a guy that once
It's
led.
not real hockey.
There's a guy that once led the Leafs in preseason scoring. His name was Don McLean. He
Yep.
didn't play a single game for
I
them.
remember.
Single game, not one. But he led the team in scoring throughout preseason.
Ty Ratty, this past preseason, had in 4 games,
Oh
had
my.
7 goals, 4 assists, 11 points. That's tied with Connor
man.
McDavid, who had the exact same numbers.
And the Oilers were instantly Stanley Cup favorites after.
And number 3, Kailer Yamamoto. 6 games, 6 goals, 3 assists,
Kyler.
9 points.
Is it Kyler?
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 I know.
Tyler with a K.
I feel like we have this conversation every time. Oh my God, they were 1, 2, 3. I just realized Jesse has the preseason scoring for the entire league up.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
you do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The Oilers were 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3.
Yes.
Matt Barzal was number 4. That's nuts.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. Oh,
Anyways.
boy. Listen. The Oilers. Here we are again.
Well, okay, so in case anybody's been living under a rock and not on hockey Twitter, which, you know what, I can't really say I blame you.
In case anyone's been living a better life than us.
Ty Ratty, Ryan Spooner, both on waivers. Now, Spooner was the guy that they got for Strome. Strome was the guy they got for Eberle, so Eberle for waivers. And they are going to save $1.395 million on the salary cap. Interestingly, though, without LTIR, the Oilers over the cap this year. Already. So what do they go and do? Sign mediocre at best goalie with 31 games of experience who is 31 years old to a 3-year extension with a limited no-trade clause at $4.5 million per season. They didn't have any other bidders for this guy. They were bidding against themselves. I want his agent.
He's only 30, by the way.
Oh, he's 30.
You said 31.
Sorry.
He turns 31 in July.
Oh, just...
Okay.
He's got time.
So he'll be...
You know, that's what it's by 30. That's when you really decide what this goaltender
We'll
is.
see.
He'll be an old goalie by the end of this contract.
An oldie.
It's weird because like he's sort of making his NHL debut, even though he did that like years and years ago. So it's easy to think of him as young. I call it the Bozak effect.
Yep.
Sort of. Now, I saw you have a conversation this morning, Adam, with Andrew Walker on Twitter, and I think it's
he
an
retweeted
important
some
one.
of my stuff last night, and I was asleep at 8.
Oh, was it last night?
Yeah, well, and then so I responded to him today. I didn't disagree with what he had to say.
No, I liked his point. Which do you have his tweet?
I'm pulling it up
by any
right
chance?
now. And here's what he said. Okay, so
He's not wrong.
I quoted Roosevelt in his speech after Pearl Harbor, which was December 7th, a day that will live in infamy.
Yes,
which was just, it was about the Oilers. It was supposed to be a joke.
I believe it's a comedic device known as hyperbole.
So Walker retweeted me, and he said, I get it. Really popular and easy to trash everything the Oilers do right now, like somehow Ratty being on waivers is a huge embarrassment. Well, it sort of is.
I mean...
but, like, they found a goalie they like, and they signed him. Yeah, of course he has to perform, but who doesn't? Some scenarios require a little chill. So he's saying it in here, and I know Andrew, so I know where he's coming from here. It's not... You can't just look at the Oilers as everything's bad, because we did the same thing with Bergevin, who made 2 very smart deals this summer. And I mean, if you look at the situation like deal by deal, it could work out well. And when we text messaged afterwards, because he got ratioed pretty bad here.
I saw.
It's at 27 comments, 0 retweets, 12
likes.
Ooh.
That's
So
pretty good ratio.
I messaged him. I'm like, I don't disagree, but like, I'm curious. Wanted to know a little bit more about what he thought. And he said, "Listen, if the Leafs, what if Freddie Anderson, who the Leafs gave up 2 first-round picks for and signed to a $25 million contract, had been Scott Darling?" He said it'd be the worst deal in history.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
But he wasn't.
And his play before that suggested he would not be.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I wasn't that worried when Freddie sucked at first, because he did, he sucked for like the first month of his Leaf contract, was because of his body of work prior to that. It was good. He had an NHL body of work.
Well, Koskinen's got 31 games.
Koskinen does not have it. Okay. There's a goalie who, like, I'll give you a decent comparable for the Mikko Koskinen thing. Mm-hmm. But you know what? First, I want to go back to something you said with Bergevin.
Yes.
We were dumping on him.
Then he does the Domi Galch trade and the Tatar Pacioretty trade.
And we dumped on the Domi Galch trade.
Can we just also note that Scott Darling has a Stanley Cup ring?
He sure does. Man.
And
he deserves it.
That crap.
Like, he wasn't just chilling on the bench. He, won them a series.
No, that wasn't that year. Not the year they won the Stanley Cup, I don't think. I think that was the year before, was it not?
I want to say that was 2015.
Yeah, that's when they won the Cup, but didn't he... Oh, I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
Anyways, he has a Stanley Cup ring.
Is the Stanley Cup ring, man?
And good for him.
So,
but he did not
also
lead the team to the Stanley Cup. He was a supporting
I think
member.
Darling's going to be back. That's my bold prediction. He's going to be back in the NHL and playing decently.
Scott Backling.
Is he not? Is he injured right now?
No, he's in the minors.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or he might be injured and in the
Charlotte
minors.
Checkers starting goal.
I will... Steve,
the AHL leading Charlotte Checkers.
Because of Scott Darling.
I will take that bet.
Okay.
I will take that bet on Scott Darling.
We're
I think
betting...
Scott Darling is a backup goaltender. And that's
Pride.
okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's fine.
Scott Backling.
Now, Okay, Jesse, we heard you. Put down your glass bottle of water. And
Which, by the way, he just keeps refilling.
yeah.
He refuses to drink out of like a plastic water bottle like the rest of us or one of those swell bottles. He's like, no, I will drink with the water that looks like Grey Goose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will drink my Grey Goose water.
And
Goose
called
water.
Canadian. Is it called Canada Goose or Canadian Geese?
Canada Geese water. Use my promo code, Jesse.
You don't have a promo code.
I just said it. Moving on. Scott Backling. Keep going.
You're right. So anyway, we dumped on Bergevin, but like when he made a smart move, we gave him props. And like I think earlier this season, we were even like, you know what? Chiarelli did get Koskinen, which was fair. Koskinen had a real hot start. He's been recently, but he's still been there and okay-ish. With Bergevin, we were like, oh, he can't trade Pacioretty. And then he traded Pacioretty, and we were like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
What he got in return was pretty good.
Well, and it was sort of surprising because you look at the situation with Pacioretty. I think the reason we dumped on the Pacioretty trade was because Pacioretty wanted to stay, and Pacioretty's a good player, and they didn't have to poison that relationship the way they did. It was the way they handled Max Pacioretty on the way out. And Vegas, quite frankly, wanted to unload Thomas Tatar after making a dumb trade. Like, I don't know why they made that trade. We didn't really understand it at the time.
Well, and that was another weird thing, because they just decided immediately that Tatar sucked. And listen, I don't know if he's worth the money he's making, but he never sucked. He never sucked. So anyway, sorry, we're getting away from it a little bit. I'll give you a guy who I think is roughly comparable to Mikko Koskinen. So he was brought in this offseason, new to his team. His team missed the playoffs last year. He's earned the starting job, but his backup plays a decent amount of games. And this goalie was signed to, I want to say it was a 3-year deal worth $2.75 million per. This goalie had a really, really, really good season in 30-plus games last year. And this year, he hasn't been quite as good, with an identical save percentage to Mikko Koskinen at .911. Carter Hutton. So this goalie, who I would argue is a comparable for Koskinen but has a better and longer body of work and is younger, is still making nearly $2 million less per season. It appears to be a bad signing. Tom Wilson. Here's a good comparison, all right? Caps fans were more than happy to go, because he started the season hot. It doesn't change the fact that heading into that contract,
It didn't look like he might be worth it. Now,
he
it's possible.
didn't earn that. He didn't earn $5+ million a year.
Would you still pay? Would you pay him $5 million even now?
I mean, no, probably not. Because the body of work suggests this won't persist. He's hot. He's hot right now.
And not just handsome.
Yeah.
He's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
Seen him with his dog? Come on now.
Come on now. It's hard to get past all the head shots and stuff.
Yes.
But when you look at the headshots instead of the headshots, it's
headshots
like, damn,
with the
Tom
puppy are
Wilson.
cute.
You see,
Yeah,
because
I see what you did there.
Yes.
No, but in all seriousness, yes, it does appear to be a bad signing, and I get what Andrew is saying. I don't necessarily agree with it completely, but I don't think what he said was unfair, which was...
It's important to bring up, like, are we picking on them?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we are.
But no, we're not.
But also, the Oilers, I mean, like, how many times do the Oilers have to make terrible decisions? We only have to look at the Spooner for Strome trade this year. That's a deal that they do not have to make, and yet they do, and then fire their coach and hire a new one 5 days later. This is the key here. The issue is it's a situation where if you're on the verge of talking about a coaching change anyway, okay, and you make a trade, then you owe it to that coach and that player to see if that player can stick or make your lineup better. Do you not? Give him more than 5 days?
Yeah, can you bring up Ryan Spooner's career? Like, just his career numbers? 'Cause I was looking at them yesterday. I don't understand what's going on here. Like, with him. I don't understand what's happening with this player. I mean, Berkshire sent a funny tweet. It's like, Ryan... no, sorry, not Ryan Strome. Ryan Spooner.
Right.
He's like, Ryan Spooner makes $4 million. Now, I don't know if I would have signed him to this, but like, let's look at his career. All right. He had a 4-game season, 0 points, whatever. He had a 23-game season, 0 goals, 11 assists, fine. He had a 29-game stint where he put up 18 points. That's all right. Then in 80 games, he put up 49 points. All right. Here's what this player is going to be for the rest of his career. This is with Boston, by the way. All of this with Boston. 78 games, 39 points. Bit of a step back. Then, in 17-18 with Boston, in 39 games, he had 25 points. He's on pace for the best season of his career. Gets traded to New York. Continues, more of the same. In 20 games, he has 16 points. 16 points in 20 games. This was last year. Last year. And this season with the Rangers, he has a slow start. 2 points in 16 games. The Oilers, he gets 3 points in 24 games with the Oilers, so he's clearly something's wrong this season. Mm-hmm. And they waive him. But like again, body of work. Everything about this player suggests, I don't know, keep at it for a sec. Put him in a position to succeed. I want to know, did he ever play with McDavid? Practice with McDavid? How about Draisaitl? What? I never saw him like online. I never saw him above the fourth line. What did you get this player for?
Well, and that's my point. That I think.
Was he claimed today, by the way? Were either of them
none of
claimed?
them were claimed.
Both
Nobody.
cleared.
Really?
All three players on waivers.
Bit surprised Rowdy cleared.
I found it interesting that, like, yes, again, going back to what Andrew said, popular to dump on everything Oilers, but it's not as though they haven't given us a reason. And that was my point. It's like, okay, so you fire Todd McClellan 5 days after acquiring a new guy, and then you bring in a coach, and as Friedge said in 31 Thoughts last week, he said it's unfortunate they acquired him right 5 days before Hitchcock came. He's not a Hitchcock guy. And when he's not a Hitchcock guy, Hitchcock's not going to play him. So you've made that deal already. If you were considering making a coaching change, hold off on the trade.
Wait a second. Wait a freaking second.
It's not that Ryan Spooner was going somewhere.
I don't think this is Chiarelli, dude.
Well, they've come out and said that these are all group decisions. So it's unfortunate that when Ratty and Spooner went on waivers yesterday and the Oilers posted it, I thought, and everybody was like, "Can we waive Chiarelli?" Ha ha ha. I have to say, that was the first time for me, at least, it really clicked in that this is not. Even if you look at his record in Boston, which is outside of the Sagan deal, pretty good. I don't see how this could just be Peter Chiarelli. He hasn't lost his mind. But if he's in a situation where it's groupthink, and they have said that, everything's a decision by committee, he's the guy that gets to wear it. He's the guy that heads on the chopping block. But is he the guy truly making the decisions? And I just can't see that would be the case.
One of my favorite episodes or favorite clips from this show, if you want to see clips where I take it to 12 out of 10, Catsplosion. Katz explosion. Because the story came out that the Oilers, brain trust, nearly unanimously decided not to pick Nail Yakupov first overall.
Right.
There were two guys in the room, I think it was, who said, no, it's fail for Nail, we're getting Yakupov. I don't remember who the other one was.
Daryl Cates.
Yeah,
but wasn't it Kevin Lowe?
I don't remember.
I thought it was Kevin Lowe.
I don't remember.
Jesse's looking this up.
It might have been. Yeah, Jesse's looking.
And the thing is that if this
what
is
do
just
you pay
me.
people for?
I'm a billionaire. Okay, I'm not a billionaire. But
Yeah,
if I were a billionaire and I own a team, okay, my investment in that team, my strength, assuming I made my own money, assuming I got there on my own because my parents are not billionaires.
Yeah.
And Daryl Cates and his family did a great job with Rexall, there's no question. My job is to go look at the business of this side and go, who can run this business really, really well in a way that they can report to me, blah, blah, blah. The other side of it is I'm going to allow the hockey people to do the hockey stuff. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm good. My lane is business, and I'm staying in that lane. Owners believe that talent evaluation when it comes to a normal money making business is the same as sports, and it's just not. And I think, and I understand it's their prerogative. They own the team. They can be in any meeting they want. But if it's up to me, if it's my team, and I'm in that same Oilers meeting, I don't have a hand up one way or the other. I'm just watching.
I'll dumb it down even more. I got an oil change last week.
Whoa.
I didn't tell them how to do it. I didn't give my opinion as to what they should do with the...
Let the experts be experts. You pay them for that.
They know. I got my foundation fixed after the leak in the spring.
Were you there digging it?
Nope.
Did you patch it?
Nope.
Do you know what they used to patch it?
I had money, and I said, here you go, expert people.
Did you build your own dishwasher?
I did not.
Interesting.
So
You still purchased it.
I sure did.
I pulled up back to the Yakupov story.
Be handy if I could do that.
It would be.
Mark Spector article from March 28th, 2016, where he tells a story about how
Checks out.
Yakupov was drafted.
Okay.
He starts with 9-2. So 9-2 was the votes of the scouts on who to draft.
And let me tell you, folks, as a Leafs fan, 9-2, bad number.
There was 9 votes for defenseman Ryan Murray and 2 for Nal Yakupov. And one of those votes for Yakupov was actually a Galchenyuk vote that had to be morphed into a Yakupov vote.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So all the scouts, they were asked, that lead scout had asked, Stu McGregor had asked everybody to take their votes, and everybody said Ryan Murray. And then he continues with the story, and he says, with the advice of their on-ground scouts tucked away, the Oilers' brain trust of the day, Tambellini, president of hockey operations, Kevin Lowe, soon-to-be GM Craig McTavish, and owner Dale Cates, would meet that afternoon to finalize the decision. And we all know how the decision ended up with Yakupov going
Guys,
number 1 overall.
It's the owner. It's the owner. Nothing is going to change. The only reason the Leafs, who are in a slump right now and haven't won the Cup in over 50 years, the only reason the Leafs turned it around from being a last-place team is MLSE, who, thank God, is not just one stubborn guy. MLSE
Is a conglomeration of conglomerations.
It's a conglomeration of stubborn people, but
yeah.
at least they got together, right? They got together and went, you know what? Yeah, let's tear this thing down. Let's do this properly. And they brought in Brendan Shanahan, and he took his sweet time and extended Carlisle, and I lost my mind a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, is this guy actually this stupid? Turns out he's not. And
Wanted to retain Dave Boland at a time.
He sure did. And he cleaned house, though. He saw the light. And he put a plan into motion. And you know what? It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than the way it was. The Oilers aren't going to change a damn thing. I've seen Oilers fans suggest Kevin Lowe should be GM. Guys, who hurt you? Who hurt you? It's the owner that's the problem. Listen, I don't know how the money worked with the new arena, but you got this new arena and it looks beautiful. You know, so you could argue that's a good thing, and not everything owners and rich people do is evil, and totally I'm with you. But this guy needs to step back and save himself from himself.
Well, and the reason that he won't, here's the thing. Every single Oilers GM since Glenn Sather, who left in 2001 to join the Rangers, every single one has been retained by the team after they were deemed unfit to be general manager.
It's bananas.
That's McTavish, Housen, Lowe, and Chiarelli is obviously still there too.
Jesse, I think you were going to...
If the guy who writes everyone's paycheck says something,
You don't have a choice.
you don't have a choice but to listen to it.
No,
It's
you
him.
don't.
So,
But this is Daryl Cates having the self-awareness to go, you know, maybe I need to clean house and maybe I need to step back.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. If it hasn't happened for 20 years, why would it happen now?
So Adam, if you own your house and you say, "Hey, I want to change the towels in my kitchen," who's gonna tell you no? It's your house,
Right, but the towels in my kitchen do not affect the foundation. Do you see what I'm saying? So here's the thing. I can change the color of the walls, but I'm not pulling out posts going, I don't like that.
What if the foundation...
Like support posts,
What
support
if the
beams.
foundation falling down has no effect on you? What if it's just like, but I want these tiles. I want them to be blue.
I mean, yeah.
And if the rest of it falls down, that's not my problem.
You have every right to do it. It's just,
I can blame other people.
if the Oilers want to be successful, yes, that's the joy of being an owner too. You can do that. If the Oilers want to be successful, then this has to change. But I don't see how it could. I don't see how it could. And I don't know if you're a general manager or a potential general manager. Let's say you're Mike Fuda, who is the assistant general manager of the LA Kings. He apparently was up for the Carolina job. Apparently was up for the Buffalo job.
He's been up for
pulled
every
himself
job.
out of a couple jobs. I think he pulled himself out of both jobs because he was like, I'm going to stick around here, see what happens. Let's say you're Mike Fuda and the Oilers come calling. We have the best player on the planet. That's attractive. But if I'm Mike Fuda, I look at that and go, okay, you also have probably 2 years ahead of stripping this back. And no, you got it. Listen, just let me go.
Sure,
with it.
sure. Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Don't tell me it's not going to take 2 years to strip the bad contracts off this team. And find places for these guys, and then repopulate the team and Bakersfield. And that's the situation the Oilers are in right now, is they're looking at about, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years of cleanup, plus they need a couple of really good drafts, which means that dealing their first-round pick is not going to be good. Daryl Cates wants them to be in the playoffs. That's another thing.
That really did save the Leafs, by the way, that the year that they finished last, they had a top 4 AHL team.
Yes.
It really helped.
It did. And if I'm Mike Fuda, I go, okay, so my prospects suck here already, because we're looking at 18 to 24 months of terrible.
And they got some.
And we got an owner who, despite the assurances he might give you about, don't worry, you'll be autonomous, I won't bother you, whatever, you do your thing, I know that he won't.
Yeah, dude, it's him.
He's going to call me in the middle of the night and be upset when they lose a game.
Which is why Ken Hitchcock, I think I nailed it. Ken Hitchcock is absolutely the savior this team needs. You can't fire him. He was retired. All you can do is send him back to retirement, which he won't even have to move. He lives there. Ken, travel less.
He grew up there.
Watch us on TV instead. You can't tell Ken Hitchcock shit.
No.
He's the savior this team needs. So, and Chiarelli brought him in. What if Chiarelli's a goodie?
Well, I don't imagine Chiarelli's a baddie. I just think that it's got to be more than Chiarelli that owns this.
But
now.
he's painted as such a baddie. What
He
if
is
Peter Chiarelli Severus Snape?
But do you think that's not on purpose? They
What?
are absolutely letting him take this.
Oh.
Because there's a country club of people up there who don't have to worry about this. We can make any decision we want. We'll have no public scrutiny. Let Peter Chiarelli take it.
So I've texted a few people this, and I might as well say it on the podcast. A lot of players at the end of their career have souvenirs. They have pucks with tape on them, things written, first goal, first hat trick, whatever.
Okay.
They collect sticks. A lot of guys collect sticks.
Souvenirs is what you call them?
Souvenirs.
Okay. Like when you go to Wonderland, you get a souvenir?
Yeah, you get a Mickey Mouse snow globe. I don't know. My mother-in-law asked for a lot of snow globes. It was kind of creepy. She got 8 this Christmas, but we'll talk about that in another time. That's just a whole bunch of issues. You might get a framed jersey. Mark Savard has a ton of framed jerseys in the background of all his stick taping videos. The souvenir that the 80s Oilers have is the Oilers. And it's this thing that they just look at. They just look at
Is it Phil Collins with his Grammy in South Park?
Yeah. Whoa, I think Yakupov should be the guy to turn this franchise around.
Their toy is the actual team.
Yeah.
And they say, we built this.
Yeah. Look at the... and they put their feet up.
Yeah.
We won
Look at
4
this.
cups. 5 cups.
This is our team.
Do you think that's an argument between some of them? Gretzky goes, can you believe it, boys? We won 4 cups here. And Messier goes, 5.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think
5
Messier's
cups.
the type of guy to let that go.
Nope.
Yeah.
Put a cookie above his head.
Yeah. Oh. That's
He said 5th cup up here.
the cookie he puts above Gretzky's head. Yeah, see? I got an extra one. The extra.
Yeah.
I get to
How
eat
many
it.
stamps were you on, Gretz?
They hand cookies out in the box of all the brain trust. Here's 4 for Wayne, 5 for Kevin, 5 for Mark. I get it.
3 for
I'm
Paul.
Wayne Gretzky. How dare you? And then they make a silly trade. What if they make trades out of rage because he only won 4?
Rage trades?
Rage trades.
They just throw down their PS4 and go, fuck it!
Fuck it! Just the brain trust of the Oilers. The souvenir they kept is the team.
Yeah.
They saran wrapped it like Nona's couch, and it just sits there in its state forever.
Still have the best player in the world.
Just
Which
like,
is such a shame.
and
It sure
Adam,
is.
just like old times.
And one
got
of the best second
player
centers
in
in
the
the
world again, just like old times, boys. Goalie with a goals against average of 4. That's still good, right? Just like old times. It's creepy. Is part of the anxiety around the Oilers, because, dude, we talk about the Oilers almost as much as the Leafs on this show.
Probably more now.
Is our obsession with this team anxiety for the sport? It makes me anxious. Like, you heard it in Jesse's voice right there. It makes me anxious. Connor McDavid is on a team this bad.
Well, like I said, I think there's going to be significant cleanup if they actually do turn it around. It's going to take time.
As a hockey fan, part of me went, whew, when Ovechkin won a cup. Because it gives me anxiety that a player that good would retire cupless.
Yeah, like Marcel Dion.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
it's sad. Ray Bourque almost had to.
Oh, I don't want that to ever happen again. And Ovechkin, that picture, and he has that forever. Mm-hmm. And we have that forever. Hockey has that forever.
I felt relief as a Leaf fan when Phil Kessel won a cup.
Yeah.
I was relieved.
Yeah.
I was happy for him.
And vindication.
And vindication.
And
for sure.
vindication.
Yeah.
Like a lot of... I was pointing out Laurent Brossoit is having a great season with the Jets. And Oilers fans were like, well, did Penguins fans point out that Kessel has 2 cups? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
all the time.
constantly.
Leaf fans were happy. Dude, it's funny.
Yeah.
We thought it was funny. Some people were salty for sure.
Some people went to hot dog carts and asked questions.
Some people did. Journalists, Jesse. Investigative journalists. It's an art as well as a discipline. It gives me anxiety as a hockey fan that Connor McDavid is on this team. Please make the Oilers better. Honestly, truly not kidding. Not even being facetious or sarcastic. Dude, the Flames are first. Or are they first in the Pacific?
Let's see if they are
They're a
still
cup
first.
contender. They've worked their way into that conversation for sure. And McDavid is entering his prime. Those two should be going head to head right now.
They are first in the Pacific with 69 points. A nice number.
That's a very nice number.
The Jets are in like perennial contender status.
Also first place in the Central.
2 Canadian teams lead their division. And the Oilers don't even need to be
And
leading their division. They just need to be able to go
Get in
head to head
there,
with
yeah.
those two.
And as much as Vancouver needs to put the phone down every time July 1st rolls around, they are drafting well.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, they look like a team like within. If they don't make the playoffs this year, they will next.
Yeah, they can't sign a free agent, but they can draft.
Yes.
And they got some good
And
young
that is
pieces.
Jim Medding.
Yeah.
if the Vancouver Canucks finish ahead of the Edmonton Oilers this year in the standings, I don't care if they both make it. I don't care if, if they both make it, it's a little different. I don't care if they both miss or if Vancouver makes it and Edmonton doesn't. You need to fire every member of that staff. And Darryl just won't do it.
Now, I was thinking about this the other day. What kind of GM would you want? You got a GM that...
Actually, sorry. I just caught myself. Sorry, one sec.
it's cool.
Sorry. I just caught myself.
What happened there?
If Darryl is the problem, will firing people even do anything? Because I've been saying that about Chiarelli.
He's got to change his mindset. So that's why I don't think things are going to change.
Yes.
And
Can a GM supersede the owner? Like,
No.
What if the owner goes, hey, do this? And the GM just goes, yeah, okay, sure, I'm going to do that. And then makes a phone call and does the opposite.
I'm sure that's happened. I don't imagine those GMs are there long, though.
If the fan base overwhelmingly loves it and it's clearly a good move. They go on to win 6 of their next 7 games. No! Unless the owner is that stubborn and egotistical.
I don't think things work like that.
No, okay.
I don't think there's a move where it's just like, we did this, and then now we won 7 games.
I know
don't
that,
think anything
Jesse.
works like
I
that.
know, unfortunately. But imagine.
Yeah, imagine.
But I just said the owner needs to clean house. I don't know if it's going to do shit.
I think if they lose for long enough, eventually he'll learn.
When is long enough?
No, it'll get to a point where they're terrible enough, and they're on the verge of finishing last every year.
How do you
I think
get
once you
worse
hit
than
that
this?
point, maybe he learns. But if they just keep squeaking in to around the 9th and the 8th seed in the conference, then
They're the
this will
Leafs.
just perpetually go on for decades.
They're the Leafs. Oilers.
Which will be fun.
Edmonton Oilers. Everyone who's groaning at this conversation, congratulations, you're Leafs fans. Now you know.
We don't need your pity.
Did you guys see they're doing a nice promotion today to honor the oil sector, energy sector in Edmonton?
I saw this.
But the fun part about
Let's
the
hear it.
promotion tonight
Isn't it
is
the-
the hashtag
Okay, which is what?
loyalty. So it's loyalty.
I'm sure that's how it's
spelled-
meant to be pronounced. Loyalty?
They spelled loyalty Loilty. Like oil and loyalty. Loyalty.
LOL Oilers.
The Oilers are showing their hashtag loyalty to the energy sector at tonight's game, hosting more than 250 members of the oil and gas industry and
is
their
nice.
families.
That's
which is very
cool.
nice. Just use a non-retrospect hashtag.
We're too packed. How dare you? But I've been doing NHL 19 streams recently.
Somebody tweeted me, by the way, the other day, and they said, a Koskinen to spec.
Oh, Rob Wong from Sportsnet yesterday goes more like Mikko Kosk too much.
That's good. That's good.
Did you guys see his home and away splits, by the way?
No.
I saw this on Twitter.
Oh my God!
Screenshot
Another
of it.
wacky home and away split stat for the Oilers.
So
You don't say.
Koskinen splits at home.
referee,
He's
be
a
the ref- I
927
gave you the referee.
with a 2.36 goals against average.
That's a Vezina
yeah.
conversation
Wow.
Yeah.
goalie.
On the road, an 891, 3.23.
Oh my goodness!
So maybe
Now-
the reason Kate's wanted him signed is because he's only seen him at home.
Oh my God!
That'd be true.
Maybe.
Well, no.
Only get-
Well, every game I've seen, he's been great. I don't understand.
But he travels, Adam. Like, surely he travels. Like, how many times have the Oilers played in Seattle? Sorry, like, I'm offended
it's a
on
funny
behalf
guy.
of the Oilers for this owner.
By the way, they had to talk to Cam Talbot a couple days ago before this extension was
Yeah.
announced. Cam Talbot will accept a trade anywhere, although I think he's got him a limited no trade, but I think he's ready.
Get out, Cam. Get out.
I wonder with a guy like Cam Talbot if, and this, people are going to hate me for this, I wonder if the Leafs take a look at a guy like that and go, can we get him for nothing?
Well, and
'Cause
the
even
Oilers have every incentive in the world to get him out of town as soon as possible because I think they were 1.3 above the cap. Mm-hmm. If they trade Talbot now, they might
But that's
get under by the end of the season.
But LTIR means that they're $50,000 under the cap right now. They've got $50,000.
Yeah.
That's it.
So if you trade this guy, get rid of him right now, take no salary back.
Yeah, you're laughing. However, I mean, listen, the Leafs have some salary cap stuff, and I don't think goaltending is what they need. But it would be interesting if they could pick him up, and even if he's not on the active NHL roster, like even if he's down with the Marlies, that's a guy that you can send down. I'm not like they can't, but you'd have to wave me and figure something out there.
I just feel like he makes so much more sense for other teams. Like, okay, can the Flyers like actually give a shot to a guy who like used to be a starter?
Well, it seems like a good trading partner because they seem to be selling, and if there's a place that needs a winger like Wayne Simmons, it's Edmonton. Like, wow, do they need him? And wow, would he be great with Connor McDavid? You got to think.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, first of all, Talbot. Geez, you'd need to do Talbot and like. Does Talbot in a first get you Simmons? I don't know.
Oh, I would think it'd be less, wouldn't you?
You would,
Because what Philly's looking at is like if you get Talbot and he works out, maybe it's a conditional. Maybe it's like if you get Talbot and you re-sign him, then you get the first or something like that.
The issue to me is you're taking Talbot as a favor to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like the Flyers don't need him. Who needs this goalie right now?
Right, but you could, if you're Philadelphia, you could say, let's try him out for the rest of the season. If he wins the job, it's him and Carter Hart next year.
And it's disappointing
re-sign
because
him.
Cam Talbot was an NHL starting goalie. He
was very good.
He won.
He was a Vezina candidate.
He was 9-24 in 13 games in their playoff run, and he's only 29. So I don't know if they should be bailing on him so quick. Like, I understand, like, you want to go with Koskinen, but
he's had a bad 2 seasons at least. But
Yeah.
what was that season they made the playoffs? I think it was.
he was a 9-19 that season. It was 16-17.
In how many games though?
73.
He played in all but 9
73
games.
starts, 42 wins. That's absurd.
All but 9
Finished
games.
Finished 4th in Vezina voting.
Wow. How isn't that good enough to get a nomination? That's bananas. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of like who would even really need him. It'd have to be a team with cap space. Arizona could make some sense.
Are you telling me a team who has a bad like look at Calgary? Calgary and Edmonton don't make trades often unless it's Ladislav Schmid. But if you're Calgary, you love Rittich. You love what's happened, right? Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily love the idea of going to the press or into the postseason with Mike Smith. Mm-hmm. Cam Talbot, you could pick up for a bag of sticks.
You got Big Save Dave, best nickname in the game,
right? But if you can have a second guy who has also been to the second round as a starter, why don't you take that risk? Calgary should go for it.
But what do you do with Mike Smith? Just have him chill? Nah.
I'm looking at Mike Smith's stats right now.
Yeah, but you can't just have him chill.
Why? He's done.
He's got a long contract, doesn't he? Or an expensive contract.
Dude, he's got a 304, and his save percentage this year is a 888.
That's Mike Smith?
Yeah. Mike Smith is going to sit. He's played 25 games.
He's like, remember that season Mark McGuire
By the way,
struck
with
out
those
9...
numbers,
1 sec.
With those numbers, still 14-9-1. That's how good Calgary is.
Remember that
That's
season
amazing.
Mark McGuire struck out like 9 out of every 10 at-bats, but the one was a home run?
Yes, his home run dinger season.
Yeah, like, I feel like Mike Smith is that. You know, he's brutal 9 out of 10 times, and the one he's not, it's a shutout.
He's Drew Hutchison for the Blue Jays the first year they went to the year they got David Price, was that Drew Hutchison or who was that guy? There was a guy on their team who had like a 7 ERA, but he was like 13-5.
He kept winning every game because they would score a bunch of runs. Yeah.
He had
It
like
just
the best
happened to be
run
his
support in the
starts.
league.
Yeah. But he was terrible.
Terrible. He was their 5th starter. Terrible. I just, if I'm Calgary, why not? Hey, what's it going to take for me to get Cam Talbot? I'll give you a conditional 7th to take Cam Talbot's salary off the books.
Talk to the Jets and see if they'll give you Brossoit back. I don't know.
Okay, he's a UFA at the end of the year. It's a rush, though?
Oh, Smith is a UFA.
No,
Talbot.
Oh, Talbot is.
It's a rush for them to get rid of him before the end of the year?
They should. Like, even if you're able to lessen the amount you go over the cap next year, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're 3 points out of playoff spot, and they still want to make it. Who's their backup goalie?
That's the confusing thing to me. I don't know who they have behind Talbot.
Also, Talbot's played more games than Koskinen.
Can you look up who they're...
That's so funny, that they're going to trade him. They're 3 points out. But you're not the goalie right now. Like, if I were Edmonton, the smart thing to do is keep him. Because you're trying to go for the playoffs. That is for sure.
Nah, they're moving him. Adam, the smart thing to do, okay, well, rule that out. Like, they're not doing it, so...
According to Cap Friendly, non-roster goalies include Al Montoya, Shane Starrett,
yeah,
Stuart Skinner, and Dylan Wells.
Skinner!
I don't know.
Skinner?
So Almond,
Aurora Borealis at this time of day.
this time of year, in this exact location, centralized in your kitchen.
I saw that
We're
recently.
gonna have steamed hams tonight.
Even though they're clearly grilled.
So Al Montoya, I guess, is the option.
Yeah.
Koskinen and Al Montoya. Is that
And
what
Al
you-
Montoya, by the way, who has, I believe, not been very good in the AHL.
Doesn't matter.
so
He played the
bleak.
NHL one time, so he's an NHL backup. Let's
And-
sign him for way too much money.
You want the darkest scenario? They're getting
Oh.
Clefbaum back.
Yeah, they are.
They
are.
They're going to get better.
Well,
Man, I would love to see the Oilers make the playoffs.
better
I
than
think it'd be great
terrible
for
isn't
chaos
really
sakes.
better. But yeah,
Yes.
I said better than terrible isn't better.
Yeah.
Daryl Cates kicks down the door and goes, actually, Jesse.
Oh, but imagine, like the difference right now in Edmonton is amazing, because the water carrying, if they make the playoffs, will be just phenomenal.
Yes.
But if they miss the playoffs, the media there is going to torch the whole city.
What do you guys want to see happen?
Oh, I want them to make it. I
Yeah?
want the Oilers in. I want it for I want it for the fans. Connor McDavid's looking about 1,000 years older these days. And by the way,
He
no one has
is.
shouted this guy out. Best fucking captain in the league right there.
Oh, yeah.
You want to know the best captain in the league is Connor McDavid. After what he said yesterday, coming out and going, well, if anybody's in this dressing room that doesn't believe in this locker room, they can leave. Hell yeah,
Wow.
man.
Tell him, Adam.
I love it. Best player in the world right there. Let's go, thumbs up.
Let's go.
Seriously, though. This
Most
guy,
important quality? Canadian.
Yeah, also. He's like he's had shit shoveled his way. He broke his collarbone in his first season. Really bright second season. The last year and a half have been terrible for him.
And just, by the way, gets beat to shit. He's
Yeah.
bleeding every game at this rate.
but
Man.
they got Sheriff Lucic out there looking out for him.
Or Cassian, or Brodziak, or Darnell Nurse. Like, they're a tough friggin' team. I don't understand. Dude, you stink. Your team is bad, and there's not a great difference between your second and fourth line. Take a suspension. Like, seriously, at this rate. If you're Zach Cassian, be a god to the city. They'll start a GoFundMe for your friggin'...
Yes, they will.
They literally would. Like, and he's showing some tenacity. There was that gif going around of him shoving someone into the bench. The next person who throws a clean check on Connor McDavid, grab him by the collar and punch till someone stops you.
I think
Dude.
that makes a lot of sense.
Are you?
I mean, that would have made a lot of sense before, though. You know, that would have made
It's a bit late,
Yeah.
but it's not too late. Adam, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a punch in someone's face is now. That's an ancient proverb. So saith.
So say Steve of
What's his
Steve
name?
of Oshawa.
Bob Nicholson. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's an unbelievable situation. We'll see how it rolls out. I have a feeling we are just beginning in Edmonton.
Oh,
We are just
please go on a
beginning.
10-game heater. Like, just.
Can we do
friggin-
to end this? Can we do a little trivia?
Oh,
Yeah.
I did.
2017. Who were the GM of the Year finalists? This is from our Reddit.
Okay.
Did you see this?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. I also just
Chiarelli.
sort of remember. Chiarelli was one of them. I was going to say him last. Well, who made like the Stanley Cup final? Those two.
2017.
Yeah.
I don't. That's an award that nobody really looks at. It's relatively new. Too, isn't it?
Penguins, Preds. So let's go with Jim Rutherford
and
David Poyle.
yeah, let's go with that.
David Poyle won it. Peter Chiarelli was the nominee. The other one, Pierre Dorian of the Ottawa Senators.
Oh, that's right. Because they went to the conference final.
Peter Chiarelli and Pierre Dorian, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, really, were GM of the Year finalists.
Jeff
Fun
Merrick.
hockey.
Jeff Merrick said it best a long time ago. The GM of the Year award is the Stanley Cup.
Wow,
Ooh, I'm dying.
Thanks to our Reddit for that.
that's phenomenal. Way to go,
Wow.
guys. What a league, eh? It's just wild. All right, I want to quickly mention something. Okay, we're going to talk about the Leafs. We've just spent 54 minutes on the Oilers.
Why so short?
I know.
Ian Tulloch at Ian Graff. Who, by the way, I'm going to be on his podcast
sorry.
this week. Which The Leafs have been significantly outshooting and outchancing their opponents since Matthews and Nylander returned to the lineup. They've been losing games because of a low save percentage, Anderson injury, right? And also, let's say, Sparks injury, too.
Yes,
I would
absolutely.
imagine their save percentage would be much higher if Sparks was there.
Bold.
And a low shooting percentage on the power play. Hot take. They're going to be fine. And I have to agree with that. The concept of save percentage is difficult for people. I get that. Believe it or not, it's not all Jake Gardner's fault.
No, Adam.
Nor is it
Listen
ever.
to Twitter and the yelling fans in the arena.
I still say that we have been for 2 weeks now talking about the actions of max 75 people.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we're overblowing it. I
Yeah.
agree. I don't think, honestly, it doesn't take much in a stadium that size to get a couple boos going. And I don't. And for those mics, by the way, which are pretty sensitive to pick stuff like that up, it's not hard.
Were you watching the Saints game on Sunday? A dude was whistling the whole time.
And it
it was
made it.
one guy. And it was on TV for 3 hours.
I think somebody did a profile of him after
Yeah.
the game.
And
Yeah,
how
like,
often
it was this guy who's got his face painted, he's got a big hat
and how often were people like, whoa, the damn Saints fans.
with their whistles.
one person in a stadium of 70,000?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
whatever? One gold face-painted individual.
And by the way, if the Leafs had won a game this weekend, one game, Jake Gardner would be off the list of topics.
Literally, if they had beaten the Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
forget the last game. If they had beaten the Panthers,
Here's what
everything would be fine.
Here's what Kyle Dubas had to say with regards to Jake Gardner and his confidence. Dubas says it would be good for people to understand just how important Gardner has been to the Leafs' turnaround over the past few years. And I think that's important. I think it's very, very true. Remember, this guy was, well, I mean, you can make the argument that the first Matthews year, that's basically like AD1 for us. Seriously.
Yeah.
But the first Matthews year,
The Washington playoff series loss?
yeah,
Year?
that
Yeah.
one. That Jake Gardner was the best defenseman on the team that year, and that's because they were running Morgan Riley through the ringer. And I can remember everybody, all the people on the air who are not fancy stats people, and all the fancy stats people agreeing that Morgan Riley was a huge disappointment that season.
Yeah.
And yet, look at him now. There was a reason that they did what they did, and it was the smart move to make by Mike Babcock. Love that. That was great. And there are situations where that's going to happen.
My worry, I guess, just with... Remember, we always try to go, who's Babcock putting through the ringer this time? I think he just thinks that's how Zaitsev's supposed to be used.
Yeah.
Remember, I was like, maybe he's just trying to toughen him up. No. He's just using him
Well, I think
very
he was
poorly.
he was at one point. I think it's just now he doesn't have a choice, and Zaitsev's not getting better.
What if... I was saying this on my stream yesterday. Like, what if the Leafs get Gudis to be the team resident dick and Zaitsev just turns into like a 60-point defenseman?
That'd be good.
It would be welcome, frankly.
Speaking of which,
won't
on
happen,
Austin
but-
Matthews' deal, Kyle Dubas says the Leafs have made progress on an extension for Austin, which is surprising to me because I thought he was going to get offer sheeted and go to Arizona. But apparently they have made they've made an extension. Ideally, they'd like to get it done as soon as possible for long-term clarity before the trade deadline. Adds that they aren't negotiating with Mitch Marner at the request of his agent Darren Ferris. Fine. He said he's very clear in not pressuring either Marner's or Matthews to sign. This is Dubas, and it's just his preference. He said, yes, selfishly, it would be beneficial for me, but for the players, I think they have to make sure they're fully comfortable in going forward into any arrangement.
Totally. There was someone on Twitter, I want to say it was Bonk's Mullet, said something to the effect of, what do GMs and agents do all day? Like,
It's a good point.
Whenever you hear
What are you talking about?
a negotiation is, it's been going on for like 4 months. Here's my number. Here's it. Like, I've been through negotiations. They weren't as high stake as this, but they don't take particularly long. Like, get it done if you want to get it done. I don't understand.
I don't know either. I don't think we'll ever understand that. I don't know what high-stakes negotiating. Dubas on Nylander's slump.
Allocate half an hour to speak.
Dubas says, I've got a ton of faith Nylander will get out of this. Maybe not on the timeline that everybody wants. Reiterates that he believes Nylander will find his game again. And also said something, and this is very interesting, and people are going to hate this, but I agree with it. He said, he told Nylander he wouldn't be his old self overnight. He said, we have to remain patient, and he has to continue to stick to his own development plan. He's done that. He works very hard. He's a good young person. I got a lot of faith he'll work himself out of it. And if you look at his body of work before this, before not missing training camp and 2 months of the season, you know that he absolutely is that type of player, and it's absolutely going to come around. And anybody, I'm looking at the camera, anybody that tells you that that's not the case, where are the goals? Where are they? But I don't see goals. Where are the goals, though?
It's only
Where
Teamsters from
goals?
Hoboken.
Like, come on.
There's Nylander guy. Oh! You look at his stat line,
stop.
a bunch of oh.
If your friend says it, if somebody who calls themselves an expert says it, if someone on a show like this says it, don't believe them. The numbers are the numbers, and the numbers state that things have gotten better since he's gotten back. Yes, I know the team isn't winning. I get that. Yes, I know he's not scoring. And by the way, he will.
Here's your job in those conversations, by the way.
Say nothing.
No, keep it going.
What do you mean?
Keep.
I say nothing.
My
Just
favorite
let
thing is
let them burn themselves out.
Someone goes, "You don't know hockey," and I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Nylander did something happened with the locker room since Willie got back, and you could say nothing, or you could go, "What happened?" I want to know what happened. What happened? What do you think happened? What days of our lives ass scenario are you going to come up with?
Oh, there could be
What?
so many.
Oh my goodness.
There's an open-ended question right there.
Willie said, "Hi, Austin." And Austin turned around all offended and threw his red wine at him. Like, what soap opera drama? What do you think? What happened? You explain.
You know whose fault this is?
What has changed?
It's Michael Nylander's fault. He spent too much time with him over the summer?
Just explain. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Something has changed. Great. What changed? They're not playing as hard. What? No way. Have you noticed that?
Well,
Can you back that up?
They actually don't look like they're playing as hard. That looks like part of the freaking problem.
It's weird. No, they look like they're friggin'...
Like, against the
They're
Panthers.
working hard, not smart.
What's the stretch pass thing about?
That drives me
What
up
are
a
they doing?
wall.
And why is Ron Hainsey throwing him? He can't be tape to tape in his own zone.
That was one of the top 5 most frustrating Leafs games I've watched of the Matthews era.
Yeah.
Yes, Jesse?
No, keep going.
It drove me up a wall. They got 17 shots against a team that I didn't even think was playing that well. Panthers didn't. I don't understand.
They didn't wow you. They're not wowing
And
anybody this year.
I thought the Leafs dominated. They finally had a good start. And was that the game where they were down 2-1 and then they never scored another goal?
Yeah.
They didn't change anything up.
I'm surprised we got this far into the Leafs conversation without you talking about the one thing that you should be talking about.
Mitch Marner's contract.
Was that?
How bad you think Babcock is at coaching the Toronto Maple
right.
Leafs.
I disagree with some of the stuff he does. I'm allowed to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of part of the gig.
Yes.
But I don't think Mike Babcock's a bad coach.
No.
That's idiotic.
That
is the most idiotic. If anybody that you know says that, they're idiots. They're idiots.
I think Jesse thinks that I said that.
Did you question his decision making on Friday?
Yep.
What specifically?
Doesn't make you think he's a bad coach.
They
though.
didn't make any adjustments. They kept going with the friggin' stretch pass, like you said.
Nylander was benched.
He keeps doing, and then he threw him out when he needed a goal. Mike, take your own advice. Put him out there. They were dead. They were losing 45 minutes, Mike. And you put him out for the final 5 of those. You put him out for 1/9 of the time that they were losing. I know math. I know my times tables.
So
I don't understand. The Panthers game to me was the most mystifying.
Yeah.
That nothing changed. They clearly looked like ass all game. They were getting nothing accomplished. He starts the game with the Matthews-Nylander line, and they were, again, bad defensively. But, Mike, they're never going to rekindle their magic if you keep splitting that freaking lineup. The dynamic duo of Matthews, Willie, and who cares? He will not keep them together. Every mistake they make is they get split up.
Okay,
so
well,
to both of you, What is wrong with Mike Babcock's decision making? What's going on here
Well,
that he's
I don't
making
know.
errors that are clearly errors?
He could turn out to be right. I disagree with Mike's all about putting players in a position to succeed, right? Here's your skill set. And Roman Polak actually said that in an interview in Dallas about a month ago. He said, listen, I liked Mike because he told me what to do. I went out and I did it and I got my playing time. And now, I think that Roman Polak was ill-suited to be on that team. I think the team outgrew him. I think he's probably a really great guy.
By all accounts, Roman Polak is an amazing human being.
And so what I would say in that situation is I don't know that the stretch pass, given the type of defense that you have, especially on the right side, is the right move for you. I just wouldn't. Now, was it working earlier in the season? Yeah, but they outscored a lot of their problems, and that goes to what Kyle Dubas says. He said, on the state of the team. He said this today. We had some teams with the Marlies who didn't really encounter any tough stretches during the season, and then he got late in the year and things were hard, and the team hadn't experienced that, and then they didn't win. Remember what the Marlies, the record-breaking Marlies,
The
with Hyman and
2016
Nylander.
ones.
And then
Yeah.
they lose in the second round.
Yeah.
He said,
Third.
third.
They're almost in the second. Very close.
Adversity never hurt anyone. It's how you come out of it. And I think Mike is in the adversity along with the team, as coaches tend to be. I think that you have to make, as Steve said, adjustments on the fly. If you are losing and you want to get William Nylander going, putting him on the bench isn't getting him going. Mm-hmm. You're not telling William Nylander anything. Like, the reason you bench a guy is because he's either not doing what you tell him or he's not working hard.
Now,
and I don't think William Nylander's doing any of those things. I don't see a guy who's wildly out of position, giving up terrible giveaways. Have we heard about a William Nylander giveaway that led to a goal?
oh my God, who was I talking to? Someone had a really interesting point of view on Nylander. Like, he came up as a center, and in the defensive zone, he is often in the center's spot, like where they should be defensively.
Maybe out of habit?
Better get rid of it. He's been a winger in the league for this is his third year now.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Like, I'm not going to deny that Willie in his own end, I'm not a huge fan of, but he forces a lot of offensive turnovers, neutral zone turnovers. I just want to see more creativity from this team. Mitch Marner is far and away my favorite Leaf to watch. Far and away.
I think that's most people.
Yeah, I think everybody.
And when
agrees
Matthews
with
is
you on
going, he is too.
Yeah.
Because in the Panthers game, Marner is spinning and trying all kinds of wacky shit, just trying to get anything going. While the rest of the Leafs, it was 60 minutes of three things: the stretch pass, passing it too much and having it getting intercepted, getting the puck back, coming back the other way, frustrated, and firing it into someone's shins. It was awful to watch.
So the Leafs lineup will now consist of Marner and Matthews, Nylander, Kadri, Tavares, Kapanen.
For 5 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say. How long does that last?
I think
5
Kadri
seconds.
Nylander lasts. I do.
It's been a thing already. So, like,
Why not?
what are the lines? So Andreas Jansson's going to miss time, or at least
Yeah,
this
so
game.
Trevor
with a
Moore is going to
concussion.
come up.
Okay.
Justin Hall was doing line rushes for him, but Trevor Moore will come up. They just
course.
haven't called him up for cap reasons. So Hyman, Tavares, Kapanen, Marleau, Matthews, Marner. I don't like Marleau, Matthews together. This is my personal opinion.
Hyman, Tavares, Kapanen. Interesting. Okay.
Brown, Kadri, Nylander, Lindholm, Gauthier, Moore.
Brown, Kadri, Nylander.
And it looks like Tyler Ennis is 2 weeks to a month away. By the way, he's not going to be great when he comes back either, because it's hard to miss 2 months.
And like his game is all feet.
Yeah.
God, it sucks.
Well,
it's so unfortunate.
So here's the last couple things that Dubas said, and then we'll move on here. Dubas is happy with how the Leafs battled through key losses, according to Kristen Shilton. They've earned the right for us to explore ways we can continue to make the team better. We're trying to do that, and if there are things that are fair that fit for us in the short and long term, we're going to continue to explore that. Now, that kind of couples well with the farm team, which a lot of people have talked about, the Marlies being thin. They're not the best team in the league anymore, so they're not great.
They're middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack, which is better than most times you've ever, like, as a Leaf fan, usually they were at the
Yeah,
bottom.
they drain the system.
And shout out Calvin Pickard getting his ring on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marley's
That was
ring.
fun.
I think that's finally it.
Yeah.
Like it's almost February and we're still giving these things out. I think that's finally it. I'm not sure.
Jonas Siegel. Dubas also contends that the consternation regarding our prospect pool, I just
what?
think, is a little bit
Consternation.
ill-informed. Consternation being like the concern, the oh boy, they're running out of prospects. He said, and I can tell you that based on the calls we get from other teams asking about a litany of the players in our system. So he's saying basically, and there's a lot. Here's what GMs will do. Okay, and we know this for a fact. I'm not
James-
speaking out of turn. General managers in the league will do this.
Oh, GMs.
They will go to a sports broadcaster in a conversation, and they'll drop a little thing like, the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking a little thin outside of their lineup. They're looking a little thin. I don't see a lot of players in that system that are worth much. And
They'll tell this to Mike Milbury.
sure,
Yeah.
no offense to Mike,
just
that
like a
doesn't-
generic
hockey pundit, which
Yeah.
is fine. This is. And the reason they're doing that is not because they don't value, it's because they value players in that system. So what that person then goes on TV and does is says, well, executives from other teams are saying that the Leafs don't have a lot in the system that people are interested in.
Yeah.
Where meanwhile, that same executive that made that comment is calling the Leafs going, I hope that made a dent and that you're no longer confident in your own players.
Interesting.
And it's gamesmanship. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
the same thing?
All
Of
this
course.
stuff happens all the time.
All the time.
Of course it does.
All the
Like this
That's-
is no holds barred, man. They're not holding back.
That's why you never said. I spoke to a league executive who's like, "Holy shit, the Leafs are great." Like it's because the Leafs don't leak anything. So I think I think you're right. It's other teams going, this is wrong, that's wrong, and oh, I heard this, and this is gonna,
Well,
yeah.
and I heard Kipper today on Hockey Central at noon. And again, Nick is a guy that I genuinely respect. I
And has
disagree-
sources.
Yeah, I disagree with a
legitimate
lot of what he
sources.
says, but I genuinely respect Nick. He's a good person, and he does a great job. And one of the things he said about Matthews, and I found this funny, I don't know whether it's true or not, is they talk about the extension, and he goes, Jeff Merrick says, what number do you start at if you're Marner's agent? And he's like, I start at 20% of the cap. And Merrick said, that's the maximum. And Merrick's like, well, McDavid signed for, was it 17.5% at the time?
You got that.
So he's like, so I start at that number. And you know what? People went nuts, but Nick is not wrong.
Dude,
if you're
you
the agent
start
and you
too
don't
high.
start there,
That's how negotiating works.
Yeah.
bingo.
Yeah.
Of course.
He's so right.
And so people take that as, oh, well, Nick thinks that Austin Matthews is going to get $16 million. No, he doesn't.
No.
But
I'm
Nick
sorry
knows
that he
the game.
knows how things work.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's funny to hear Mark Savard was on the panel too, and Mark Savard's got some really great insights.
Max
and he said
Savard.
they were talking about Marner and Matthews and their contracts, of course. I don't know if they've donated to the Marner jar yet, but they should.
They ought to. I should bring that up on Ice Surfing tonight.
You should.
Good point. Good
but
point.
what Savard said is like, couldn't they just give like $1 million, $500,000? And Nick looked at him and said, I seem to remember somebody signed a really delicious last contract in this league looking at Mark Savard, and he did. Mark Savard's last contract was really, really good for the time.
He was also really, really good before he
said,
got
would you have
dinged."
left $500,000 per season on the table when you signed that deal? No, probably not.
No. It's so much easier to say when
To
it's
say.
not you.
Yeah. Think of all the hockey tape you could buy with $500,000.
Yes. Well,
He
here's
goes
the thing.
through a lot.
$500,000 to you is $500,000 to a person with lots of money as well.
It's still
It's still $500,000, right?
You could just set it on fire and look at it. Look at the spectacle of
Sure.
how ridiculous it looks that you set $500,000 on fire.
Sure could. Sure could.
Look how silly that looks.
So anyway,
Buy a house in Oshawa, a
it's-
literal house.
it's one of those things that
a year. Every year.
just set
you
the
could buy-
house on fire.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh,
you could.
that would be criminal.
Plus the price of gas
Right, that's
equals,
true.
yep.
But I think the point here is that, GMs are playing games,
Yeah.
and we're biting because we're fans. That's what we do. But understand the game a little bit. When you hear something like that, and it goes, and you want to go, bah! On Twitter,
No.
take a
Which
second and go, A,
do.
is this the Oilers? Then go ahead with your tweet. B, if that doesn't make sense, there's probably a reason. You are smart enough to know things that don't make sense. You are smart enough to be able to figure out, hey, there's something odd there. Maybe there's something else happening behind the scenes here that I hadn't considered. And it's taken me a while to learn that, and I have to be honest with you, I'm not always great at it. But I would honestly recommend that you don't take everything at face value. Remember where it's coming from, other league sources.
Also, this team's minor league affiliate doesn't have anyone of value. Well, what does that mean? Doesn't have, does everyone got to be Nylander when he was a Marley? Does everyone got to be Gardner when he was a Marley? # free Gardner? No. Our team's kicking down the door to get Callie Rosen? Are they kicking down the door to get Carl Grundstrom? Mason Marchment? Those are all guys, though, who I think could be NHL players.
Sure.
They're it's not about developing the next Gretzky necessarily. It's about filling your team. Who, when the Leafs had him in the minors, was calling every day for Zach Hyman? No one.
Nope. Bet they'd call now. That's why.
Who cares if they call? He's on the team. He's a regular on the team.
That's why I would imagine, though, that a guy like Connor Brown, and I keep going back to this, not that I want to trade Connor Brown, but this is a player that's in the league that's on a controlled salary. I have a feeling. I just have a feeling.
We keep going back to it. It's funny that the same people who are like, how dare you trade Josh Levo, are sort of on the Connor Brown trade. I don't know if there's a way you can win that trade because I bet he goes somewhere and I bet he's pretty good and a better opportunity.
I think he's a 20-goal scorer on the right team in the right circumstances. I don't think that's crazy.
And you bite that bullet and you say, we got whatever
of course,
we got
and that's
for
fine.
it.
I don't think they're selling low on him.
The Oilers should be calling the Leafs every day, seeing if Connor Brown's available.
Josh Levo should be an Oiler right now.
Yes, he should. God, Frank Corrado might help the Oilers right now. Come on. Free Frank Corrado with the Oilers.
You didn't have a Frank Carsoni.
Yeah.
You could have given or
Michael
Why
Carsoni.
did I call him? I called him
I
Frank.
said Frank Corrado. So.
Oh,
Hey,
I just went with an
Frankie.
Italian name.
Mikey.
Oh,
I bet they have a brother named Rocky.
hey! All right. Next shift. All of a sudden, Sheldon Keefe is Italian. Next shift, we got Machi, Grunny, and Calzone. Get out there, Calzone.
By the way, I just want to throw this out there. Low Tide.
Low Tide.
From the Athletic Edmonton. Here's a quote from this article that just got published.
Ooh.
As it pertains to cap management, the Oilers continue to show a willingness to put themselves in a corner early and often. A reasonable observation is that they have no idea what they're doing in this area.
And
Reasonable observation.
Again,
That's just that.
surely, Chiarelli's not this dumb. Surely, Kevin Lowe's not this dumb.
And surely Mike Babcock knows.
Bob Nicholson's not this dumb.
Do we think that Mike Babcock is unaware that Ron Hainsey isn't a fit there? You cannot tell me you guys cannot tell me with a straight face that you think Mike Babcock thinks that's a good fit.
Roman Polak existed all last season.
If you look at Mike, though, he'd
but
be
who
like,
do you replace him with?
exactly. And that, it was like he didn't have faith in Connor Carrick. He wanted some angry back there.
Listen, it's easy to be like, Justin Hall is better than... No, not for what the coach wants him to do. Special teams exist. Defensive situations exist. And unfortunately, in the situations that the coach was pointing to, Roman Polak, greater than sign facing Polak, Justin Hall. I don't like it. I
I don't
prefer
agree
watching
with it. I wouldn't agree with that. But that's the tack that they chose, right?
That's what they chose.
Anyway, moving on from the Leafs, who I think, do need to have a bounce back game. Yeah. Well, whatever. They also need to have bounce back goaltending. What else do you want me to tell you?
Just please beat Washington and head into the bye week. Oh my God, that'd be so good.
Okay.
All-Star game is this weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
Might be having a
It's
little...
a good thing I'm doing something Saturday. Saturday
party.
night, by the way, Sunday actually, is my anniversary with Caprice.
Oh, yeah.
It's already
Wedding
a year.
anniversary.
Wedding anniversary,
Yes.
Because you got married in the winter, weirdo.
That's right.
Okay.
And it was on a Saturday. It's now on a Sunday, obviously, because it moves forward a day. But
Yeah,
Saturday
gonna
night
be
we
a
go-
Monday.
Hey.
A year ago today, I just made fun of you for 5 straight minutes in front of your best friends and family.
That's okay. It's good.
I enjoyed it.
There's a lot of stuff that I have, but here's what I want to do. We've talked pretty heavily about the Oilers and about the Leafs. I think we need to lighten it up and then get into the press conference. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Let's lighten it up.
Put your headphones on and listen to the soft, dulcet tones of one Mike Francesa.
Yes.
Now, as a
Give an extra-
background to this,
I do.
and I think it's important that we get a little background on our boy Mikey. There was a Photoshop picture. Jesse, do you want to explain this?
I gave you.
So Todd Gurley is the
Player.
player. So Todd Gurley threw up on his Instagram a picture of him giving a NFL referee a jersey.
Kind of like trading it like Dwayne Wade, right?
Exactly, like in a soccer match, in a footy match,
Footy.
how you would often trade your jersey, you'd trade your kit after the match.
Wow, am I
On the
sitting in a room
pitch.
with Brendan Dunlop right now?
You are, actually.
Shout out, Brendan. What's up?
So in the Saints-Rams game, there was a very controversial play that led to, there was a missed pass interference call that led to the Los Angeles Rams winning the game.
Controversial, Jesse.
They missed it.
You know my football expertise. I was like, I'm fairly certain that's illegal, sir. I don't know how they missed it.
Coming from Tim and Sid host Steve Dangle. So yeah, they missed the call. Rams win the game because of that call. Todd Gurley, who was on the Rams, running back for the Rams, throws up a picture on his Instagram of a photoshopped picture of him giving his jersey to the referee as a joke.
Now, here's the thing. Mike maybe doesn't know what a Photoshop picture looks like and just thought it looked grainy. Because, let's be honest, Jesse, as someone who Photoshops stuff all the time, how would you rate the Photoshop job that Todd Gurley put up?
It was clearly a joke.
Yeah.
You could tell that it was a Photoshop.
Yeah. And,
But to an older gentleman, I see how you could be fooled.
and by the way, this is not on Mike's radio show. This is on Mike's paid show that you pay $30 a month for or whatever on his
And
app.
you get the app.
No.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than Netflix for one show a week.
No.
We talked about this. All right, here we go.
I gave you the referee's name, who ran the group, and who said to the pool reporter that it was a judgment call, and he wasn't even sure what call they were talking about. If you were the referee of that game, and you didn't realize you had a problem on your hands, and that is your honest statement, you should be fired. You
Fire
should
him.
never have another jersey, whether you exchange them with players before the game, which should be an outrageous thing to begin with. No way should an official be exchanging jerseys with a player before a game. That's such a bad thing to do. Number one. Number two, they have to stay distant from the players.
Oh my god.
He's the best. Now, I just want you to know that clip alone on the back after this account, which is just Mike clips every day. And whoever it is, they're doing a brilliant idea. I hope it's Mike himself. That account, by the way, is 44,000 followers on it.
Oh my God.
Mike,
Just Mike Francesa clips.
just Mike Francesa clips of him goofing. The best part about that is that video alone on Twitter, 1.48 million views
Of him fucking up.
of a 40-second clip about Todd Gurley.
Okay, that is like the population of Saskatchewan plus London, Ontario. Have seen?
Mike Francesa on Twitter doing that.
Oh,
Amazing.
Isn't that great?
my actual God. That's like twice the population of Boston almost.
Press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press
Doesn't
Conference.
he have a producer?
Yeah, I have a feeling that like whoever the producer is probably doesn't.
Care.
Well, or,
I'm
like,
gonna let him do it.
Mike's probably like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm not gonna tell my producer what I'm doing. Like, sometimes I'll go off script. Like Jesse's our producer on the morning show. Sometimes I go a little off script.
But doesn't go. So, Mike, it's a Photoshop picture, Mike.
Well, remember, this is done at Mike's house on his app, right? And so he all he did was get a microphone, which we should maybe do one day. He got a microphone set up and a logo painted on his wall, and that's it. He doesn't even. It's not our studio here is better lit than his app studio, like the videos that you're getting.
Folks, if you want to do it, just do it.
Just do it.
But I don't have. Well, just do it. Do it low budget.
Austin Matthews has scored on every team except for 3, not including the Leafs. What 3 teams is he missing from his list? That's from cheesy_dangles.
Now, I guess this is just regular season.
Yes.
Because I'm not certain.
Hint, 2 teams from the West, 1 from the East.
Say that one more time.
Austin Matthews has scored on every team except for 3.
2 from the West.
2 from the West, 1 from the East. Steve
West-
Dangle, who's watched every Austin Matthews highlight pack on YouTube,
Yeah.
you should get this.
West would have to be
I'm gonna say Vegas
someone they never play.
because it'd be the least amount of games. I'm just playing the odds.
What are
on that one.
your 2 and 1?
Vegas and because he scored against the Coyotes, hasn't he?
Yes, in Arizona.
I'm gonna say Vegas and Nashville because they're good. Because Vegas
No.
has played the least amount of games. Nashville's a good team.
He scored a wicked goal against Nashville in his comeback game last year. He did. He did.
Only you would
Vegas-
know that.
Vegas, I know. I want to say he was sort of banged up when Vegas visited Toronto for the first time, and I know he got an assist. I don't know if he scored. I think he did, but I think it was in the shootout. No, he scored against Vegas on New Year's Eve in a losing cause.
He did score.
He did score against Vegas.
Was
I'm
it
almost
that 5-2?
positive.
Or whatever
6-3,
that
I
was?
think.
Ugh, that was gross.
It wasn't
That
good.
Game was a bad game.
It was bad. I was very upset. But thank God they
Remember
got it
we
out of the
almost
way.
flew down there to see it.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Super glad
But
we didn't.
that was wedding season.
That's right.
Remember?
That's right. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can't afford it.
Yeah.
The one
Still
team in
couldn't
the East.
actually.
I don't know.
Post-wedding season.
Yeah.
I don't know if Austin Matthews has scored a regular season goal against Boston. I'm going to say Boston.
I'm going to
As your
say
East team.
Winnipeg because they're a good team. Although he probably has. Line Matthews. And the Blackhawks because why not? Everybody wants to help Stan Bowman out. Why not Austin
Adam.
Matthews?
He scored against the Blackhawks.
Oh, that was the thing.
Scored
yeah,
against the
okay, fine.
Blackhawks.
Jesus.
I like this game.
Ducks? Ducks. Fucking Ducks and Jets. I don't care. And fucking Carolina. Who cares? Just tell me. I'm done with this shit.
Steve?
I'll say Ducks and bloody friggin' what's Oilers. I don't remember if he's ever scored against the Oilers.
And one East team?
I say Boston.
Boston. None of you got any of the teams.
All right.
He has never scored against Philadelphia.
Interesting.
The Flyers. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's interesting because they've never had a goalie. That's crazy.
Funny. He's also never scored against St. Louis or Calgary.
Really?
Oh, okay.
The Flames.
I'd be curious. Does it say how many games he's played against those teams? Because he's
No.
missed some time.
Yeah, they just wrote the those 3 teams.
Interesting. And they only play those teams like Calgary and St.
St.
Louis.
Louis and Calgary be one time a year or twice a year.
Philly's surprising.
Home
But
and away.
how
But
many
yeah.
of those games has he missed? That's very interesting. Okay.
Does every team have a post-Christmas slump or just teams I like?
What happened? The Panthers, the Caps, the Leafs,
Haven't the Panthers just been having a season-long
that
slump?
is bad.
basically. Yeah.
Oh no, we're bad, and we continued.
yeah.
bad.
Well, which teams does that person like?
That was the entire question.
He, the world's only Panthers, Caps, Leafs fan. Yeah. No, it is just you.
In an this is from King Seon 34.
Okay.
Adam, do you want to tackle this one?
Hit me with it.
In an alternate universe, would you send Babcock down to the Marlies for a conditioning stint and bring up Sheldon Keefe?
No.
No.
No. Can you imagine how he would take that? Do you think Babcock would just start breaking things in the room? Like
Also,
silently?
what is this nonsense that he's all of a sudden forgotten how to coach?
Remember?
Do you guys remember what it was like under Randy Carlyle and Peter Horacek? Do you not remember what Mike Babcock did with the worst team in Leafs history in their 100 years?
They actually look pretty good.
And the fact that they completely changed the culture around the team, has everybody just forgotten that?
He's being... Listen, there's a difference between... It's like Boo and Gardner after one bad giveaway. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, overall, he's good. But he is, at the moment, driving me nuts.
Sure.
Someone who is bad currently is not bad overall. I think we need to get over that a little bit. Listen, he's driving me nuts too. I'm with you.
This
But-
is from vanilla_CR48.
Okay.
Robin Leonard, currently, is 15-7-3.
Damn.
Has a 930 save percentage.
Damn.
And a 2.02 GAA.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Could you
my
say
God.
that he should be considered for the Vezina Trophy? Or is there some sort of games threshold that he needs to cross?
Well, so sorry, what's his record at?
15, 7, and 3.
So it's 25 games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that took me a sec
25
to-
games, yeah. Only
20
25 games. They've played, what, like 48 most teams?
Yeah, and he'll probably play. Yeah, that's tough because by the end of the season, he'll probably be at like 45.
If you play
maybe.
45 games, let's say, and he finishes with 930, can he win the Vezina?
Yes. And if you can't, that's stupid.
That's
Would you
tough.
vote for him?
Yes.
In only 45 games.
Only?
It's a half season.
Yes.
Well, it's like 3/4 season in goalie terms, I guess.
Should be an
depend
interesting
listen,
conversation.
it depends against who he's going up with. But if we're talking about performance in the games that he's played, which I believe is what the Vezina is all about.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but he didn't play that extra 20, which he definitely would have been shit in.
So
That doesn't
let's
make any
say-
sense.
Let's say, like, John Gibson is clearly the best goalie. Ducks missed the playoffs. That's a tough one.
Well,
Like, who was the last?
It's like Connor
goalie to-
McDavid not winning the Hart last year because the Oilers missed the playoffs. Stupid. Stupid.
Is
No, like-
Leonard's Vezina bid strengthened by the Islanders making the playoffs?
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Well,
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, then it's stupid.
Well, listen, I'm not saying it's... Dude, I'm not saying agree with it.
I know.
But it is stupid. And Robin Leonard deserves the credit. The Islanders, by the way, have been amazing.
Yeah,
Good
5
for them.
in a row, 8 and 2 in last 10.
Nobody could have predicted this. That's awesome.
First in the Metro,
The Islanders did not predict this.
No
Stop
way.
it.
second in the conference.
You know what it was? They got rid of that weight, that anchor that was John Tavares.
I'd argue that I predicted this a little bit because
did.
I remember going, wait a sec. Like, the Islanders were never terrible. And I'm like, wait a sec. If they get a goalie,
And they did.
they'll have a shot at this. I didn't think they'd be leading the freaking Metro. But in the conversation for a wild card, yeah,
Totally.
totally.
That's awesome to see.
First round matchup, Leafs
Good
Islanders,
Lord,
let's go.
Their fans have suffered enough. It's time for them to be good.
Yeah. If it wasn't dunking on the Leafs so damn hard, it would be such an enjoyable story.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
can you
also don't think
imagine?
Leaf fans care. Like, the thing is that, like, Islanders fans care
care.
so much. I don't think about them.
I understand why Islanders fans care.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. Leaf fans are not like, are they hyper focused on the Islanders?
They need to have an identity outside of this, though. They just
Outside of
don't.
Tavares, I think this year it's the anti-Tavares year.
Yeah.
You got to give them
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, you're
They're
right.
fans. You gotta give
You're
them that.
right. You're right. There's no. It's just like if the Leafs were to lose to them in the first round, like it's you just.
Oh, you never come back from that.
No, there's
my God.
nothing
Although
to say.
I gotta say, I would love it if they played them. It would be amazing. What a series! That's what I'd live for. Maximum chaos. Let's go. Bring it.
Darcy, we're calling you up. Got to sign Darcy Tucker, and just
True. Darcy Tucker still has the fire too.
just put a magnet that just connects his ass to players' knees. We're going old school.
All right, this piggybacks on our conversation that's happening right now. This is from Engineer Sandy.
Hi, Sandy.
This person wants to know, who started calling John Tavares Pajama Boy? The picture he tweeted shows no pajamas, just a pillow, sheets, and a comforter. We all assume the little boy under the covers is wearing pajamas, but we don't know.
That's a very good question. I don't know. Someone uninventive.
I never even considered that, but it's true.
Here's the great answer, because we don't know anything about this person individually, other than it started on the day he left the Islanders and went to the Leafs. Yep, there's the picture. Yeah, we don't
No
see pajamas.
pajamas.
Don't see pajamas. The only thing we know about this person is they were in a blind rage. That's all we know. So the answer is it was someone in a blind rage that day. Do we think it was one of the Islanders fans who set something on fire?
So it was an Islanders fan who started the Pajama Boy
I
thing?
think so.
Yeah?
Well, what do you think? It was a Leaf fan?
Maybe a taunting Leaf fan.
Could have been. Could have been a Leaf fan doing an impression of an Islanders fan, and we all, like jerks, were like, oh, Islanders fans are so salty. And we just attributed it to them. Could have been. Someone who I am thankful for, because now we have a fun nickname. It's cooler than the snake.
Oh, the snake picture is so bad.
It's
that's
really bad.
Like, it's embarrassing. Like,
It's on a Mount Rushmore of bad hockey Twitter pictures, up with the salad.
Oh, Manny, God.
Every time I think about it, it makes me mad.
What does it say?
Pajama boy.
They got a Leafs jersey and they taped over it and said pajama.
Pajama boy.
No,
Joke.
I think it's a Black Islanders
Oh,
jersey.
Yeah,
it's
joke's
that
on you. You got one of those
Brooklyn
stupid Brooklyn
thing.
jerseys.
Yeah.
Boy, those were bad too. Can I just say those Brooklyn jerseys were bad? The
How do you
Islanders
make a black jersey bad?
The Islanders
right?
jersey, the classic jersey, is great. Just
Yeah.
leave it alone. Stop
I agree.
picking at it.
I still remember there was like an on-ice announcement, clear as day, where the Islanders, they unveiled a new jersey and they said in front of the home crowd, no more silly jerseys. And it was after they had the Captain Highliner logo. Leave it! Leave it! Islanders have a different jersey every 6 months.
Although now I like the Captain Highlander jersey just a little bit for nostalgic reasons.
Well,
but let's
a
not
little
pretend
bit.
it was a great jersey.
Okay, if they ever play in the Winter Classic.
Oh, that, but in all white. To honor the Navy. Or sailors, you know?
You imagine it's a blizzard and all you see is 5 Captain Highliner logos buzzing around and one standing in net because that's their job. Oh my God, that'd be great.
Hey, I gotta go because my dog has a dermatologist appointment I've been waiting for like 2 months. I'm not even kidding. She got really, really bad reaction to something that continues to happen.
That's
I don't know what it is. But I gotta go. So I love you guys, but we gotta wrap this up.
Jesse, you want to continue the show or
I just want us to all remember
screw this guy, you know? Like,
to have lots of loyalty to your friends and family.
Hey, why don't you look at the Leafs? They suck 9-9-2 the last 10 good games. Let's go.
Let's go!
Hey, let's go.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.